Ansary here. It is January 20th in the year 2017. Welcome to the latest installment of the Alex Jones Deception series. So it's been a while, as I said in the last podcast, since I've been doing these Alex Jones Deception series podcasts. Each one of them is different. It's very abstract, as you're noting, and I'm talking about different things, and sometimes I have to come back for the new listeners that haven't heard the previous ones and then just go over the main points. In this particular video, I want to discuss, come back to this theme, what happened to Alex Jones. When I make these allegations that he's possessed by demonic spirits, some call them archons, how did this happen? Some have said for years, the man is sold out. We can also go over examples of that. Examples of him falling on his sword deliberately, which I allege that the man really is coming out of the closet as a psychopath, almost as if that's his job. We cite the Austin, Texas gun show incident. Write these things down on a piece of paper or pause, then watch them on your own time, because I'm not going to show you the clips. We're going to actually concentrate a great deal of information. Watch him with Michelle Malkin. Watch him say that the bodyguard assaulted him. When you watch the actual footage, he pushes to provoke a security guard. Watch him go in to provoke with a megaphone communists. And I don't like communists, but you know what I did? I moved away from him. I moved away from Portland. Now I live off the grid in Colorado. I don't run up to him with a megaphone and then bump into him and then have a bunch of police right there to escort me back to my vehicle. Alex Jones was come out of the closet as someone that serves the establishment. He'll actually talk about a war with the cops that'll get some of you and me investigated by Secret Service, and then he's actually being protected by cops, Blue Lives Matter, and then calling Black Lives Matter terrorists. And me pointing that out is not an endorsement of Black Lives Matter. I think that we have a right to be independent, and that Alex Jones has been riding through on a deceiving horse. He's come in on this white horse, but he's really a dark horse, and he is the greatest enigma of the 21st century. The fact that he actually had some of us for years looking at Infowars.com as a truthful website, as a genuine man, as literally a brother in spirit, as I and maybe some of you found Alex to be for many years. My awareness of him does go back to 2002 with my spiritual speculation. I feel like I know the soul that is inhabiting the body that you know as Alex Jones. In fact, I think our souls know each other from another time and place. I don't think this is our first time here on earth. And I think that ultimately, whether Alex Jones was awake early on or not, where did he get co-opted, and what does it really mean to be sold out? As I indicate to you with this hypothetical wand, as I guide your attention over here to being sold out to the spirit of evil and greed to such a degree to where it almost takes you over, and then you become vulnerable to actually being sold out in a physical sense, taking several $1 million from, say, a state agency or a state-funded group or a corporate entity or individual, maybe through a money bomb, maybe through one of those things, which really a front for a lot of money to come through. Oh, hey, we raised $1 million. Thank you, supporters of InfoWars, because we really couldn't do it with the male vitality. Not so vital. I've been around, listeners. I've been around watching this man for years. You're getting the perspective of someone that's been watching him since 2002. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt and being generous in saying that there were aspects of whether or not that was staged Bohemian Grove, and he may have been listening to Will Cooper at the time, William, and he echoed William Cooper's 9/11 prediction talking points, which William had by late June of 2001, with Alex Jones doing the prediction in July. There's a lot of good he did, and I've expressed that. There's actually a separate video where I just show my interviews with Alex and my support of Alex Jones and InfoWars material. So, I mean, I've already gone into that. So, for me, I think when Alex Jones really starts shifting, it's 2007, there was the in-game documentary, something within him shifting. And perhaps a surplus of money. This was the transition from one studio to another. Jason Burmis coming in and then leaving. And that's why I have to do some of these podcasts, so I can really give you these details. The hypnotic monitors arrived. And it was kind of cool when he did it on Access TV with, the green screen. Like, okay, cool, you're doing the Star Wars thing once in a while. But then when that became a part of his set, and his growing staff and his operation. And I'm thinking, yeah, the dude was just really good at documentary filmmaking. There should be more people like Alex Jones. This is my thinking back in the day. Now, in hindsight, was there money coming from the outside that we didn't know about? And then we see how things got hypnotic, and without giving you 1,000 examples, we have the Swiss cross, we have the graphics and animation, we have things like double crosses with other viewers. We're actually zooming in on the logo and pulling out Masonic symbols in the InfoWars logo. We have the V for Victory campaign, and then we have Alex repeatedly doing 666 hand signs and other things with his eyes, or with the looking through the hands form like a pyramid, and other things. And then, of course, the hypocrisy, early InfoWars material. You remember, those guys are Satanists. There's Clinton, there's Bush, and they're doing the devil sign, which some people call, the lock 'em horns, the Texas football thing. And then here's Alex, though, over and over and over to his own people as early as 2006 at the Terror Storm screening, and repeatedly holding up what some people call the lock 'em horns. In no way is Alex Jones, and you know this, if you're an Alex Jones fan, he doesn't go around promoting lock 'em horns or screaming lock 'em horns. Dude doesn't do that. And I also think some people take the hand sign stuff too far. Then you also have videos saying so-and-so is shape-shifting and so on and so forth. I'm trying to come at you from a really practical, spiritual perspective. Some could say Gnostic. On the idea that Alex Jones represents an archon or an archetype or spirit of evil or domination. And if you can see the transition from where Alex Jones was to where he is now, you can also find this hypothesis believable and understandable, demonstratable, and quantifiable. You go from exposing false flag stuff and discussing people being tortured to actually promoting candidates that are talking about going after the barbarians and saying they're 9/11 truthers when they're not, when openly deceiving to millions. So people talk about in plain sight. People theorize about the elite putting things in plain sight. There's been like a method to this theory of them putting things in plain sight in Hollywood to Alex Jones in plain sight, showing he was a psychopath, that he can't be trusted. To the point where any of you left still listening to him are considered like the stupidest of the stupidest. I apologize if you're offended. It seems to be the situation that we're in now. And it's like the people that are real independent thinkers have already jumped ship. Some of them are still listening to Alex Jones because they're suspicious of what he's doing. I understand. I will say that, because there is the possibility, and I know there's some atheists that may be listening, but it really doesn't matter. We really are dealing with like a hypnotic spirit, even by watching that dude and watching him like go into trance and act possessed and spit all over the place for entertainment and just for shock. I mean, you could be caught up with that energy. You could be angry at Alex Jones and be affected by it. And so the people that do nothing but Alex Jones videos, the rest of their research seems to be suffering. So when I do it, you'll notice I tend to do it, and I don't know everything, but I'm giving you my example. I tend to do it in spurts to where I haven't really covered this stuff in like a year. But this morning I'm going to do several podcasts back to back. Updates on the Alex Jones Deception series, because it is Inauguration Day, and then Alex Jones has gone from exposing the left-right paradigm to propping it up and steering away from marching the streets going 9/11 was an inside job. 9/11 was an inside job. Come on, you know how the rest of this goes. Oh, don't act like you don't know the words. Those of you that are new Alex Jones fans but weren't around like me 10 years ago, it goes 9/11 was an inside job. 9/11 was an inside job. You do know the words, and you do know what it means. And there are some of you that are new Alex Jones fans that are liking the fact that Alex Jones has changed. And you don't see the hypocrisy in that. You like someone that'll literally go turncoat on his people because you like the flavor now. You like the chocolate of the Snickers bar going down, but you don't want to know the ingredients. You just like how it goes down. That's fucked up. That's the Donald Trump, Alex Jones deception right there in a nutshell. People like how it goes down. It's the return of the daddy. We talk about recovering from the archetype of the dark masculine or the big brother hero who's more of a deceiver. In the last podcast, now I've seen this stuff before, whether it's Donald Trump or Alex Jones or former role models, be they supposed tough guys or spiritual gurus, it's like there's different variants of this. And it's like when you see people like Alex Jones also being promoted by the system, that should wake you up as well. And not really being attacked by Google. And then playing this huge role in like something that's out of like an Albert Pike World War III prophecy scribbling. Now, Alex Jones and transhumanism, as we continue like pointing at indicators that Alex Jones is possessed or something has parasited on the body of that which we would call Alex Jones. Go ahead, get your tinfoil hat out. I don't care. So this dude, for the last couple of years, has been flipping out and screaming about wanting to go off planet. And in this coming out of the closet like Alex Jones, a transhuman, is like, I want the technology. And then, he's acting like he's channeling them like, okay, well, you're not literally getting into archons like you could. You're just acting like that's Soros and just the satanic elite, but not really getting specific. And now they just say it's Clinton and Soros. But before this whole thing in the last few years in the Trump deception, he'd be going off the deep end. Give us control, power, control, and I would say it's like he's going into channel. And then he did this with Satan Speaks. And he sat there and he basically acted like he was Satan. And it was like a coming documentary, and somebody probably intervened and said, Alex, you don't want to go that route. And so he has been... he's also dressed up like he was a reptilian, believe it or not, or a dinosaur. So like Hollywood, he's going to make a joke out of it, just like Hollywood make a joke out of it. But in reality, you look at the real Alex Jones, and it's like, if there's anything to any of this shit, you are the one who ain't fucking legit, dude. And then we look at David Icke and go, David Icke, why have you hesitated from literally calling Alex Jones out by name? Now, there is a spirit of evil in a person that's going to strike terror into others and say, you can't talk about the real me. The Alex Jones confidentiality agreements are very serious, and let's just say that you should never try to pull out information from former Alex Jones employees if they're not comfortable with it, because they're not. Because he has put the fear of his lawyers into them. He has a very organized system with this free speech limited LLC, free speech systems. And he has sent out lawyers or letters, I'm sure of it, to tell people to back off, not talk at great length about what it was like to work at InfoWars. And let's just say, from what was exposed on the, I guess it was called the Popeye show, is something I saw on YouTube. So this was not told to me. Actually, it was told, it was put on their Facebook page. Melissa Melton and Aaron Dykes. Someone may have poisoned them because they went out drinking, but they didn't drink a lot, as they say. They say they know their limit, and they know what it's like to go out and really get drunk, and that's not what they were doing. They were out with people that were associates of InfoWars and some others. And they were at an Austin bar, and both of them became very ill from something put in their drinks, both of them. And because it happened to both of them at the same time, it was very suspicious. And it was after leaving InfoWars. And of course, it could have been someone pranking them to put the fear in that maybe the government or InfoWars did it, but that's kind of sick. But the fact of the matter is, there are things that they were exposed to in this transition from one Alex Jones to another. I believe that their testimony is probably the most damning. And so Alex Jones, with his wealth, and I've also seen others, and because I don't want to get involved with lawsuits, there's certain names I'm not mentioning. There's another dude in the alternative media that's on the East Coast. We're not far, still considered the Midwest. And a former employee of his talked about who he never met, that I know of, who was contributing news. He did an interview with me. And I took down that interview because I didn't want any heat. That guy was threatened by lawyers in New York that represented the ad company that's working with this guy in the alternative media. And it was a cease and desist letter, and said that if you keep talking about the papers, to the papers or internet, we're going to take action and sue you for like $250,000. And this may be a real lawyer, but that's a really messed up use of the law, to be going after people for free speech, especially if it's independent media and it's alternative media. Why the threat of lawsuits? This is building. This is actually becoming a greater issue, like something that's said on YouTube about someone. When that person didn't even sign a confidentiality agreement, they're still being threatened with lawyers. So the Alex Jones employees officially have signed a confidentiality agreement. And that literally is legally binding in ways that you and I may not understand unless we've been sued by a very powerful corporate entity. And see, the thing is, sometimes you can fight them and win. A lot of us that don't have money, we don't have the legal support, and we don't know how to play this game. But they do. And that makes those corrupted by evil that use their money for the legal system to go after people that might expose them. Whether it be this guy in the alternative media that apparently has these New York lawyers. See, you would think that this guy's grassroots. Not with that type of juice. There's something else going on. There's a deeper level of corruption. 2, out in the open, Alex Jones. By the way, we see the departure of Joe Biggs and Jakari Jackson. And Joe Biggs has put out a lot of propaganda for InfoWars. He's probably not done with InfoWars. He still is linked. It more likely is his alcoholism and other personal issues. And the fact that Alex Jones is a maniac. So even if you serve him loyalty, he will still tear you apart once you start giving him part of your soul and selling your soul. So just selling your soul and being a good little propagandist isn't enough unless your shit is really, really good. In the end, Joe Biggs' shit really wasn't good enough. Jakari Jackson, you can tell that this was not going to end well or to last long. And I assumed that it would end peacefully when I was looking at, okay, how long is, and it could be argued to be disrespectful to call someone a token black guy. But, at some point I'm like, Jakari Jackson can't really be down with Trump. He doesn't seem that brainwashed. And I believe that there was a difference of opinion between them regarding, views on the shootings and the whole Black Lives Matter thing and this divide that's been on purpose to divide black and white. And with Alex Jones getting behind the police and this narrative that, unarmed black men being shot is not an issue, to go from it being an issue to not being an issue, because Alex Jones has played both sides if you go back far enough from the tape. And he's called for a war with the cops. See, that's why you have this new breed of Alex Jones listenership that doesn't really want, they're like, oh, we're just glad Alex Jones just stopped being the same old dude. We like the new Alex Jones. Those are people that are going to be led into a trap, that actually like someone for being a flip-flopper. That's fucked up. You liked Donald Trump when he was a Democrat 10 years ago, but he's a Republican now. You like him, even though he used to donate to Hillary and he's pictured with Hillary. You don't mind Trump flip-flopping. See, these people have been psychologically prepped to allow flip-flopping to take place in broad daylight like a shooting and not say anything. They're under a spell. They more than likely are using mind control. And so CNN is playing up the demigod, not only in Trump card, but Alex Jones. As they say, he's like a leader of the alt-right or white supremacy. For those that are already of that persuasion, it's a big infomercial for Alex Jones. As they put Alex Jones also on CNN. For the Pierce Morgan debate, I'm going to remind you that in the year in review, there was like a trailer for CNN at the end of that year. You might be able to find it, late 2013 or 2014. Link it down below if you can find it. It's like year in review, these exciting moments on CNN. And one of those exciting moments that CNN chose to remember was Alex Jones screaming 1776. Straight up at Pierce Morgan. So here's this CNN that supposedly is anti-Donald Trump and anti-Alex Jones being literally a platform for Alex Jones Literally, Clinton and Obama dropping the name of Alex Jones, along with the WF a few years ago. The establishment has name dropped Alex Jones and delivered the name of Alex Jones to the doorstep of Americans across the nation because they want those that are of the I'm in a dissent, fuck you establishment, to be led in the direction of this deceiver. And by people that are listening to him and falling asleep to him, they end up partially possessed. I'm going to talk about Bill now. Bill directed my TV show for years in Portland, and I realized when I parked my teardrop camper at his place that brief time, my home free experience when I returned to Portland the last time, I saw what the InfoWars and RT addiction, and he also liked the real news, so those three together, like in a loop. He was very addicted to it, and he stopped paying his bills, and he lost his home, and he had money to pay his bills because he had a pension. And so the combination of Alex Jones and pot, I'm not dissing pot smoking, I smoke pot myself, but somehow the pot addiction combined with Alex Jones was a special kind of psychosis. And when you're looking at stuff and you're smoking marijuana of a paranoid nature, you can be programmed and led astray, and I believe that. Having watched a lot of it under the influence of pot. You want to have moments of sobriety. You also want to be careful what you put in to your mind when you're smoking pot. So you could smoke pot and put on something that's going to program you, or something more likely that's going to enlighten you. I don't think I've ever even talked about this. But when you're combining like fake news and internet addiction with pot addiction and not enough real sunlight, you can find yourself in a virtual reality of your own imagination and creativity because you're that creative. You're that amazing. You're that capable. And so, yeah, there's a reason also why human beings would come under possession. You should subscribe to my channel because we're powerful. And Alex Jones was a very powerful threat potentially at one point. But see, how do we explain the Alex Jones Y2K broadcast as exposed? And why only William Cooper, who was not a man who was pure in his own right, a man who had his own serious problems, very serious problems. There's a tape with William Cooper under the influence, threatening someone with basically murder. It's on YouTube. So a lot of these people also hang together at one point or come around each other. But they're really too sociopathic in the end to be friends. For the brief time that they do become friends, they later become enemies to later realize we might as well become friends again to become enemies, and they go back and forth. Of course, with Jeff Rentz, who's a sociopath of his own right, exposing Alex's wife, and that, they're not becoming friends again for some reason. And that may be because there's something truer than fiction with regards to some of that dual citizenship, Israel, Alex's allegiance to Israel, and what is really going on with Netanyahu, who looks possessed to me. And Donald Trump doesn't even look like he's all there, especially after his so-called selection. You know, he has something more sinister going on. So we see Alex Jones, Donald Trump, Netanyahu, and other neocons that are hanging around Alex Jones or Tucker Carlson types. Although he's not the worst of them, but he has that look. They'll kind of have that possessed, glazed over, hello, McFly, anybody home kind of look going on. And if you look at the entirety of Alex Jones, there's a lot of good stuff that we can find, but we can see antics going as far back as 2000 that make you go, was he co-opted as far back as then? Or was there some sort of mind control or hijacking of Alex Jones's consciousness that would almost come in during certain periods, or solar flares or anomalous events where, as above, so below, other ideas discussed on this channel, the solar flare connection to the human consciousness, and periods where some people go manic or get really paranoid or want to go to war or have visions or go mad. And all this is linked to the geomagnetic storms, even suicides. Well, that happened to be the year 2000 during solar maximum. And we also see the last few years. So there does seem to be, for those people that potentially could be possessed and maybe not sold out by the money, but possessed by a spirit of evil that allows something in, like a parasite. Like here's Alex Jones screaming about wanting to go off planet and wanting the transhumanistic technology and wanting to live forever and foaming at the mouth. Is he aware that to some of us we could see a man who's possessed? Or in the mind of Alex Jones, does he think that this is all normal and this is all fine? And that maybe he will live forever, and that he will not face the karma. And maybe he is afraid of his karma. He's afraid of the things that he's done. He doesn't want to face the consequences. The Alex Jones deception is going to lead, I think, to a battle with Chinese troops where he's going to be used to set people up, and it'll be a BLM dispute. And there's going to be other deceptions. But he's positioned now for this, and he's putting out information saying China's coming after him and hacking his website. And I put out the projection since 2008 that we're going to see Chinese and Russian boots on the ground here in the United States by 2025. And Alex Jones seems to be a propagandist for the evil behind the actual invaders. So that's where you see the Putin connection. That's where you see people actually promoting Putin and promoting Russia. And this is very devastating because they will play a very direct role in the occupation of America. That's not a Pentagon talking point. So, things are going to lead in that direction. I'm looking to regain in my memory the last main thing I was going to talk about before I close. What I can say is something with Alex Jones and the tax system and the feds, and potentially with regards to things that he said on the air that could be considered incriminating. He could have been forced, although I could see this guy doing it willingly. It seems like he is playing a higher level now. But at some level, you know, he was discussing the FBI coming in, visiting him, and talking with him. And then it would increase the amount of chatter coming from Alex Jones, his government friends, or his friends in the CIA or the FBI. And then he would give a lot of fake predictions in 2008 and 2009 and 10 about all these economic collapses and false flags that didn't happen. And he was constantly saying he was getting this from the government, that he had government sources. And then Obama, or one of his, was Susstein, Cass Sunstein, there were people that were all up in arms about this announcement to infiltrate the conspiracy movement, not censor it, but to infiltrate and put out disinformation. And then Clyde Lewis and others, even Alex Jones talked about it. That was 2010. And what have we seen? Wacky conspiracies about Obama that haven't proved fruitful, and really a distraction away from all the dead Muslims that Obama's killed, and really a redirection to Obama the Muslim, Obama maybe not an American. A redirect, an infiltration. And I think that's what we've seen. In a big way, I think Alex Jones has flown cover for Obama's murder of Muslims. And just by promoting this whole fake Islamic invasion thing, and with Joe Biggs, with that fake reporting saying ISIS is invading via Mexico, this is a big-time deception. And all roads seem to point to Alex Jones in a physical sense, threatening the lives of his listeners by leading them into a battle or a slaughter in which they'll be killed, likely at the border. And that's what I see coming. And the man is talented enough, the man is hypnotic enough to maintain a sense of control over a certain number of his listeners. Alex Jones is a conduit for evil. There is a spirit of evil that inhabits the body of Alex Jones. Whether this took place when he was born or something that his parents groomed him for, something that happened gradually through him selling out his soul to greed by itself, money, fame, sex addiction, things we don't need to get into, drug addiction, adultery, to allow then other forms of corruption. Once you're corrupted on one level, why not go all the way? And then why not scream for the technology to remain alive forever? And in doing so, revealing to those of us in on the know, spiritually, that is a wicked soul that does not want to face consequences for his actions. This now concludes the latest installation of the Alex Jones podcast series. I'm Alex Ansary, signing off for January 20th, 2017.